up, people? It's your man Black Cobra back once again with the Wheel Life Show. So, as usual, I'm trying something new right before the show. so, so bear with me today. I am joined as usual by wonderful guests today, and we are going to talk about a whole bunch of things as usual. But we really want to talk about this year, 2022. And we're going to talk about 2022 in the wrap up of oh, there we go. All right. So, again, the mic pulled out right when I started talking. So, anyway, we're talking about the year in review 2022. Everything that happened this year. We're going to talk about the Wheel Life Rally. We're going to talk about the Amped Electric Games. We're going to talk about AVS. We're going to talk about all the goodies and all the things that we had going on this year. This year was the biggest year in EUC history so far. And there has been more events going on this year than ever. So I'm very excited about what we've done this year, and not just that, but I'm very excited about what we have in store. So again, if you're just joining us, the Wheel Life Show, I'm gonna bring in my guests today because today I'm joined by two very special guests. And let's see, let me make sure I have them both in here. Yes, they are. So we're going to bring in Seth Johnson and Nick, BigBoiFastBoi.
Yo.
What's up to both my buddies over here?
Let's go.
Seth, how you doing, buddy?
I am awesome. How are you today?
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
Great.
So just so everybody knows, I was trying another avenue to stream both here and on the AMP channel, and we probably should have tested that out ahead of time. But
We fly by the seat of our pants around
hey, we do whatever we got to do to get it done, though, right?
That's right. That's right.
So we will.
That's how production goes, right?
That's right. So we'll do it again, and we'll test it afterwards, and then later on we'll be able to get that going. But for today, I know that, like usual, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I know these two do the same thing. We're always ripping and running, but I wanted us to come together to give a good wrap up to this crazy year. Think about how the year started and how we're ending it up. There has been a whole lot this year.
Went by so fast.
Yeah, I think we started the year, I at least started the year very anxious, and my earliest memory of this year was the S-22 Eagle, right?
I think it was the S-20 at the time.
Yes, it was. It was the S-20. I stand corrected. the S-20 and
happened.
My excitement for the S-20 was like through the roof. I was beside myself. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's what I remember the most from the very beginning of the year. What would you guys say is your biggest memory, or what you were thinking at the beginning of the year?
I guess I'll go first. I think I was thinking about the Amped Electric Games and getting that going. I was just looking at my calendar, and it was about this time last year that I started preparing for Bentonville. So
yeah,
that was pretty much the biggest thing that was on my mind last year.
You think?
Yeah. I think it wasn't too far after this date. Maybe it was right around the same time, probably Christmas, and I got the call from Seth, and he was telling me about this crazy idea, and it was just, honestly, man, like I was kind of thinking to myself, what are you smoking, dude? Like, there's so many people out there there are so many people out there with big ideas, and everybody seems to have too small of a shovel. And I knew that he was up for such a tremendous challenge, and
Uh,
talking to him, I was just like, well, I'll go if he puts in a couple steps, I'll put in a couple steps, and the dude just took off running. And so, like, when you said, the year, a lot happened this year, it really just blitzed by. The preparations with Seth, and then going to several events throughout the year. You At the end of last year, we didn't have any events lined up. We didn't plan on going to any events aside from Amped if Seth could get it together. And we've been to 3 or 4 events this year, so
yeah.
it's just been crazy.
Yeah, I think honestly that's probably the biggest thing was for me, these events were not on the menu. They were not on the horizon. They were not anything because I was like, between my jobs and my family, I'm like, I can't do anything. So I really had no thoughts of doing anything. And this time at the beginning of the year, end of last year, beginning of the year, I had no thoughts. The only thought I had was obviously my own event, the Wheel Life Rally. I was like, oh man, how's this gonna go this year? I'm anxious to get that, situated. But I wasn't planning on going to Amped at this time. I wasn't planning, definitely wasn't planning on going to AVS. And I'm like, okay, so all I was excited for was the S22. Or S20. And I was like, the Eagle, baby. And I'm like, okay, hope this is a good year for wheels. Right. Little did I know that it was going to be
the biggest year for wheels, right?
Great year for wheels. The biggest yet. All the reveals, all of the test wheels, all of the people riding, and the biggest year for events ever. Right. Like, I've never seen so many people come together so quickly. Yeah. To go from last year where the events were even AVS was less than half the people last year.
Yeah, but the energy is just you can tell it's this huge crescendo, from the first event that I attended till this year. The camaraderie, it's just getting better and better. The community is becoming more tight knit. The vendors are working with each other. They're looking for common goals, and it's just that real warm and fuzzy feeling that you probably wouldn't really expect to get at the racetrack. And the competitiveness at AVS this time around was insane.
Yeah.
So
and I guess we'll talk. Well, I guess we can go in reverse. Let's talk AVS because it's the most recent. And
right.
And wow. Well, first of all, before I get to that, let me give a shout out here. We got Grilly says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." who you talking to?
What's up, Grill Peas?
Wheelie Brady says, "What's up?" E. Simon's in the house.
Brady?
What's going on, E. Simon?
Brady.
Good day. Good day, mate. Jeremy's in the house. What's up, man?
I feel like I know all these people.
Yeah, right. And then E. Simon said, "Let's go." Good vibes. That's right, baby. Francisco's in here. What's going on, my brother?
Francisco.
My brother from another mother right there. Yes, I know the sound. Yep, the sound went out. Brought it back. Sammy Pacheco, I ride.
Yeah, what up? I love Sam. He's great.
Yeah. Adventures in Gold is here. What's going on? Yes, he said it's been an awesome year. It definitely has been.
Sam's been making moves too, by the way.
Yes,
since he brought his name up. He's been really doing a lot with the New York scene and making sure they get out to these events. Yep. and making sure that they have the tools in their toolbox, and he's out there supporting other riders on other teams. He's a big part of what is making this community such a special thing right now. I just wanted to mention that. Since
I appreciate you. I'm glad you did that. As a matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to Sammy and iRides because he really has been. I didn't plan on being on any of these events, and I know he wasn't planning on it either. But he did make it to these events, and like you said, he's shipping wheels out. He's bringing pieces and parts. He's helping everybody that he can. If you notice, in between races and stuff, a couple times he came over and we talked to him at both amped. And at ABS, there's been, you know, several times that, and he's always like there. He's always the guy that's there to help out. So shouts out to Sammy Pacheco. He's definitely a man on the scene. And if you're in New York, definitely check out iRides because he's doing a lot for everybody. So we appreciate you, Sam.
Definitely.
And like I said, Adventures in Gold is here. E. Simon, he's loving it again. Let's see who else there. Jeffrey Peralta, what's up? The Mad Racer.
There, huh? Yeah.
Jeffrey's a madman out there.
Full send.
Yes, full send for real. Ruben White, yes, man. He said, "Do we have events, dates for events next year?" We do have some things. We'll talk about a little bit of that later. So let's see. Willie Brady. I see, who did I miss? Splice is in the house. The Splice Guard Master. What's up, Splice,
Kevin?
my man?
What's up, Kevin?
Now Kevin's another one that does a lot for the community. Whenever you need something, Kevin's always there. He sent me a couple things that he made. He's like, okay,
Nice.
you know, I got some rails that he got to put my new shock on. He said, I got some. I'll send them to you. And he's making the Splice Guard, and somebody wanted holders put on the front. He's like, I can make that.
I saw that. For
Yeah.
accessories,
That was
right?
cool.
Yeah, he's like, Kevin's another guy that, listen, Splice is always there if you need something. He's definitely a helper. He's somebody who's, you know, not just in it for himself. He's in it for the community as well. He was at the Wheel Life rally, and he was helping me do things there and run the raffle for me, and you know, and
nice.
I really appreciate him. So Kevin and I have a lot of conversations when we're driving. He drives in his truck a lot. So while he's driving and I'm driving, we always having conversations. So he's one of my, people I go to bounce things off of as well. He does the same with me. So shouts out to Kevin. I appreciate you, Splice Guards.
Important to have all these tinkerers and inventors, you know, in the community, like Kevin and, you know, Christopher Clark. There are so many people now that are coming out of the woodwork with their expertise that is only going to keep elevating,
Yes.
you know, what we're able to do and achieve, and not having to have to source parts from overseas. And I mean, it's getting pretty cool out there. Alien Rides has some pretty slick machinery going on over there right now.
Definitely.
Sheridan
Nuts.
Miller's building some batteries, and he's doing those master struts and stuff.
The brackets.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the
brackets.
first one to get the brackets out onto the market. So if you guys are bottoming out, hit up Sheridan.
Yeah,
a lot of cool stuff going on, man.
And I like that. I like the fact that the community, you know, really does a lot together. Electric Unicycle, what's up? He said next year will be a great year for wheels when they sort out all the year's wheels. Well, I don't know, man. They're coming out so fast and furious. It's hard, you know. Wheels are coming out so fast. You're like, whoa, you gotta duck them. There's so many.
One company
There's just
is
not
putting out
enough
wheels
money to
fast.
go
The other ones
around
are
is the
not so
problem.
fast.
That's a fair point, Seth. Seth said one company. It's true. But Gold is like, yo, we taking it all. we gonna put
Hold my
out
power
all the
pads.
challenges.
Yeah, they're like, we gonna put
All
out
the
15
challenges.
wheels. I'm like, damn. Liv is in the house. What's up, Liv?
Trouble.
Yeah, Liv. You're crazy. I just want to say that. I was
think
looking
I'm
at
supposed
some
to defend her.
Yeah, I was looking at some video playback, right? And I'm trying to put together the video of me on the Sherman S. And the first clip is Liv yelling at me with the bullhorn. Did you sign the waiver? And I'm like,
She was doing
yes,
her
I
job.
signed the waiver. Love
Lucky
you,
we hit
Liv.
the whistle.
Yeah. It was funny. I was like, wow, the video starts right there. Like, Don Champion. What's up, Don? She said, hi, everyone. Good to
Hey,
see
Don.
ya. Yeah, man.
Thank her for the
Don.
bullhorn.
Shouts out to Don. Now,
Spartacus is
Maribel
in the house
Vargas
as
was
well.
the
I don't know if you
fastest
mentioned
girl
it.
out there, but Don Champion was right behind her. So, as far as
With
the
like a broken ribs or wrist and
broken
some
wrist
beat up ribs.
and her ankle, I think it was her wrist and her ankle.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know she was injured until after the races, man. Like honestly, we were so busy with the broadcast and stuff. I didn't see her until podium time, and she had her hand wrapped up and she's kind of limping and she's not walking. I'm like, oh dang, like did you fall? I didn't see you fall. She goes, no, I didn't fall today. This is from before. I was like, you were out there sending it. I don't know where these people grab all of this energy and just determination to push through that kind of stuff. When I'm hurting, I don't want to get on the wheel.
No, it's hard because, especially at ankle, like
Yeah.
the wrist, I understand because the wrist is not being, used. But your ankle, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I would have rode. I definitely wouldn't have raced.
Twisty, turny track.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have raced. She's a champ. So shouts out to you, good Dawn.
For sure.
Appreciate you and your efforts. James
My
M.
favorite troll.
James M says, "What's up, y'all?"
James.
DeRosa Maid says, "What's up?"
Hey,
Yeah. Sammy said, "Thank you, by the way." Yes, yay, Sam. Just want to get Spartacus. Dio is in here. Devo, I mean, not Dio, Devo. So I think I got everybody that's coming in right now. Corey's in here. Oh, Pope Rachel. Okay, from Vegas. What's up? What's up?
Devo.
Good to see you. You're new. Yep. Okay, so I know a lot of people are gonna jump in, and I'll miss it. So okay, Aaron, good. What's up? How you doing? So I just wanted to say that. That's what I wanted to do. Those of you who know EUC, who have been doing it, for a while, Seth. Seth has been jumping everything from here, there, and all around. So
Fair statement.
I call Seth the mad jumper. So
spends more time in the air than he does on the ground.
He does.
It's so weird seeing him on asphalt too. When he did the Sherman Edge video, I was like, "Is that Seth? He's on the street. That's weird."
Like he's riding through traffic. He's not jumping shit right now. So okay.
So odd.
Feels odd.
So Roger's here. What's up, Roger? Shouts out to Roger Hajali.
Hey,
The fastest man on the AVS track. If you
Yes.
want a time to beat, it's gonna be his.
Yes.
I
Listen,
can't wait to see him race next year, man.
Roger, you're a beast. You're a beast, and I'll say that I'm very sad that we didn't get to see you race. You put down that time. You dropped that gauntlet. Nobody could pick that up. and even after the races, I still, the time was the craziest. Yes, Roger was definitely the fastest man on the EUC track, on the AVS track. But as I was saying, Seth, you guys know, you may not know BigBoiFastBoi. And I want to tell you that this guy is my favorite behind the scenes man. And I'll tell you that right now, because Nick, your positivity has definitely influenced many people, and he brings together a lot of riders in his community. And it's funny because we just met at Amped, and it's like we've known each other forever. So it's
Joined at the hip.
yeah, and I think it's a testament to that, how the positive vibe can spread. So I wanted Nick to be on the show because I don't think you guys realize how important it is. Like, you see us three sitting here, the three of us are touching a lot of things this next year. And we're trying to do it because we keep reaching out to other people and pulling people in and making a team. Seth continues to reach out, and as he reaches out, others reach out. And like right now, I feel like I'm joined at the hip with these two guys right here. Yeah. And I feel a
Whether
lot
you like it or not.
I feel a lot of
Siamese.
positive vibes from between this team. And I really appreciate it. Seth is the mad genius. He's behind the scenes with all kinds of ideas, and
All the ideas.
he's got crazy ideas.
We're over here with the ropes. It's good though, because you need someone to push the bar. You need someone to imagine, all the things we can achieve and then push just a little bit further. You got to have something to keep climbing for. Like, you never reach the top. So it's really good to have people like Seth that are around that can come up with these big ideas, but also like leans in. You know, he's in the trenches with you. He's digging. He's sweating, and there's no better than leader than someone who's willing to get down and dirty with you
Yep.
and do anything that he would ask you to do. He'd do himself, you know, and that's really important to see in a
Definitely.
leader.
And
I appreciate that, guys. I really
yeah,
appreciate that.
Seth,
I couldn't do any of this without you guys, though. So I have to say, I mean, ideas are one thing, but doers are what's needed to make these things happen. And you know, both of you two, also Ron West, Willie Brady. There's so many people, way more people than I could even
A lot of people.
try to mention on the live stream. But I am so blessed with all of the help that everybody has given me, and I'm just gonna keep on going. And there's not, if there's an obstacle, I'm gonna figure out how to go over it, under it, around it,
yeah.
or move it out of the way.
Well, that's what I appreciate also, is because and sometimes we see it, Seth, like, and I know Nick, you'll attest to this. Sometimes I'm talking, you're talking to Seth, and like you see his eyes go off somewhere else. He's not quite with you right that second. He's on another idea somewhere else. His head is like in something else and thinking of something else. And then you see him come back, and like he's like, "Oh yeah." And like I'm like, I wanted to say, where'd he go? Where'd you go? I mean, where'd you go, Seth? Because I see the ideas are always spinning through your head, and I appreciate that, because like I get that here. Like I'm always thinking of what else to do. I get that in my community, in my family. They're always like, okay, what now? What now? I'm like, I don't know. I just can't help it. I'm always trying to. And so when I see Seth do it, I said, he's thinking of something. I know he's thinking of something. I could tell,
I
right?
think they make medication for that.
Listen, don't take it. Don't take it.
Tame the beast. Don't tame the beast. Well, it's crazy because like you have all of these different like moving pieces, and then you also have puzzle pieces, and it's really easy to get like hyper focused on just a couple pieces of the puzzle, but then you have to like zoom out and remember like what else you have in the surrounding area. And so, you know, as all these ideas get fired off within the community, the people that are involved in everything that we're trying to accomplish here, it's like you have to take all these little pieces as they come, but then you have to like zoom out and take a big look at the bigger picture, and then you have to come back in and say, okay, yeah, that fits in the bigger picture, and I think it looks best up here. And you know, when it's a grassroots movement like what Amped is, you know, it's a grassroots movement. It's fueled by passion and a credit card, Seth.
and volunteers.
You know,
yes, volunteers. It's
you
huge.
You really have to play all those pieces as efficiently as possible and make sure that those pieces even belong in that puzzle. And so, you know, it's been a real struggle even there, just figuring out like what are the priorities here, what part of the scene do we need to lay out so that other people can see the vision and want to add a piece to this. Because ultimately I think that's what we're trying to do is prove that there's something much bigger than what's already going on, and what is already going on is great. But we need to pour more foundation, and then we got to get the stilts up, and we need to start really making this thing official. And so, you know, what Seth has got going on. Yeah,
we've done that, and that's what's so exciting to me is like, think about what I started the show with, right? We were talking about where were we a year ago? Like, how did this year start, right? And the difference between then and now is so huge, not just because of the wheels, but because of the communication, because of the camaraderie, because of the events that have brought us all together on multiple occasions in multiple locations. And we have brought that good vibe with us everywhere we've gone, and continue to spread it to each other. And that, to me, it just speaks volumes. And I know in my heart that because we are the way we are and we're able to do what we're doing, that's what's going to help this to spread. Because it's not just what we're doing, the wheels themselves. It's the joy that we feel on them and how we can share that joy with each other. And we
it's
try
community first, right?
Yeah. We try to push the joy out to others. We're not just hoarding the joy. we're like, hey, you can do it too. Come on.
Yeah. The other cool thing is, like, I'm not a competitor. I'm gonna be 40 soon. I'm 260 pounds. Like, there are guys out there half my weight, half my age, full sending, like they don't their risk profile is, you know, they got a little bit more on the risk side,
He's
you
in the
know, that
risk
is
profile.
acceptable. And so like for people like myself, and I think you guys too, I mean, Seth still sends it like crazy, you still send it, but I think the reality is for some of us is that we know we're not there to compete, but we know
Right.
we also love the sport, we love the community, we love the hobby, and we want to be a part of that. And so it's nice to have a place at the table,
Yeah.
when you know, people like me aren't there to compete, but we want to be involved somehow.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's why I talk about you. I mean, you're the behind the scenes guy, and
Yeah.
you're not like you said about Seth, not afraid to do whatever you're gonna ask somebody else
Right.
to do. So I
Right.
think we're all like that. Like, you know, look,
Yeah.
you because and okay, we say in the military, like, the view from 30,000 feet, right? Certain things you look at from above, you're like, oh, you know, it's all of this and all of this, but then you got to get down, way down in it. And now you're in the middle of it. Okay, what do we need? I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do. And I've been, you know, told several times, and I'm sure Seth has too, because we were saying it, that you want to do everything. And you're like, you can't do everything.
Right.
You got to have other people help you because you can't do everything. And it's hard because you want to do everything. You don't really.
It's hard
want
to limit yourself, right? When you have like such a big, and if you miss one part, the whole thing
Yeah.
is scrapped. You know,
You're like, no,
but
no,
it's
I can
not
do
like
it.
that.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna do, and like, no, let somebody else do that.
Right.
But that only works if the other people that are willing to do it have the same passion that you have.
That's right.
And that's where I know sometimes I fall short on that, because I don't want to give it away, because I'm like, yeah, but and I'm like, okay, no. If they have the same passion, though, you gotta trust that they want it just as much as you do. They want to get it right just as much as you do. And we're all
Yeah.
like that. So I like the fact that we could just help each other to do whatever we need to do, and we'll get it done, you know, with that same passion and enthusiasm. So I really, really like that. We all have our part to play. And yes, I'm in my 50s and I'm 235 pounds. And no, I'm not out there trying to full send and race against the time. And no, I'm not trying to bend the space-time continuum on my wheel either. I like to go fast, little at a time. I like to zip around. I like to, you know, now I like to jump around because Seth has helped me, you know, learn that
Oh, man.
it is
The
nice
jump
to
train.
it
The
is
jump
nice to
train
be
was
in the
amazing.
air. Yeah, the jump train.
I think a lot of people are jumping now since
Yes.
Amped. You know, I think Amped Electric really made some jumpers out of people. You know,
Yes.
I remember the first night out at the what's the wet train? What's the
The
name
rail
of that
yard?
park?
The rail yard.
Rail yard,
Yep.
yeah.
Rail
And
yard.
there were
Shouts
like
out to the rail
20
yard.
New Yorkers out there, and among others. But you know,
Yep.
the New Yorkers were out there in force, and all of them are looking at the jumps like, oh, I don't know, man, I don't do this jump stuff. And little by little, they all started kind of sending it slowly. They're
Mhm.
feeling out the kid jumps, and the kid jumps aren't. I need like miniature kid jumps. They weren't kid jumps to me, but they were sending it. After
Yeah.
the second day, they were getting big air. They were getting solid lands, like technique. They were refining. It was crazy, man. People left the AMP games, and I think that, you know, that's what's so beautiful about AMP is that not only is it competitive, but they had the classes, they had these opportunities to get out there and ride stuff that most of us normally don't ride, and you're with people who are advanced. And I mean, it was really just like a camp for learning. You know,
It was
in my
crazy.
opinion.
It was crazy. I mean, you saw my video when I went up and then went down. I was like, okay, that hurt, but but it was a lot of fun because I was like, I've never jumped nothing, so I was like, all right,
Wow.
It's intimidating.
yeah.
A couple
So-
people told me they were going home to buy bags and ramps. Jeremy
Yeah.
Valentin. He's like, I'm going home and buying ramps.
Yeah,
This is way
Jeremy's
too fun."
here, and Jeremy came back, and he searched every ounce of woods in the area trying to find shit to jump. He was just jumping shit left and right.
That's
And
funny.
He came back and he said that. He said, I just want to jump shit. I just
But that's what pushes this hobby and sport. You know, the other trend that I feel like I've been seeing the last year is some people are really starting to pull away from the fast riding and really enjoying the off-roading. Like there's a clear transition, it seems like, to where people are just, I don't know if they're getting tired of it, or they're over it, or they just are looking for something different. But there's a lot more off-road trail riding, jumping going on, and we're evolving.
I think that people are getting out of their comfort zone when they realize that other people are having a blast, and they're like, okay, they're doing stuff I don't even do, and they're having as much fun as I am. Well, let me try that. You know, and I think that's really good to see people being diverse. Like, you know, when we were doing the Thunderdome, that was definitely not in my wheelhouse before. But I was like, well, fuck it, let's do it. We're here, you know. And I felt like a kid in a candy store on that damn. I said, wow, this feels so fun. Yeah. Like the exhilaration is amazing. Every corner and berm and I was like, oh my god, like talking about it.
Alpine slide, you know, you just get on this track and it just kind of keeps you in that groove, and you just lean back and forth on the way down.
Yeah, I want to be there right now. We're talking about it, and I'm like, shit, I want to be there right now.
I've missed it since I left, man. You know, Bentonville is just a cool place. I mean, the largest network of trails and paths in the nation, I think. I mean, really, 3 or 4 days isn't enough there. You could easily spend a week or two and not be bored a single day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a week next year.
Well,
I don't know. Should we ask the viewers?
Because I know what they'll say.
Camp for a week?
I know what they'll say. Rail yard for a week? Thunderdome for a week? And there was other places than the Thunderdome. There was more trails there that we didn't get to see. Yeah. I went to, I forgot the name of the other trail I went to, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like even longer. And I was like, what? So
the maintenance staff there, I mean, they're very well groomed pathways out there, really well taken care of. There's a lot to be jealous of, you know, if you're pretty much anywhere else in the U.S. Pacific Northwest, I know, has some really well-maintained trails too, but hard to find. You know, a lot of them out here. I'm in Arizona, so a lot of them in the desert. You know, it's rocky, it's rutty, and the terrain changes pretty often with the rain, and you know, it's pretty brutal, really. Seth came out and visited, and he wanted to check some stuff out, and he thought there'd be a bunch of dirt berms and stuff, and I took him to this BMX park that was like all cheese grater cement that was tan. It was dyed tan, so like from a distance, it's like, oh, that's really nice and plush looking. And you get there and you realize, like, oh, if I fall on this, it's gonna be the worst mistake of my week.
Yeah. Wow. So I there's places all over. Well, you know, before I forget, I left it up on the screen. Patty Mac in the chat room. That's Showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts out to Showtime.
Joe in hiding, huh?
Yeah, she's on her other computer. When she's on that account, it comes up Patty Mac. Sneak attack from Patty Mac.
Mac attack.
Oh, my EUC Journey's in here.
There's Liv popping in there.
Euro's in here. Hey, Seth, he said, Nick, actually to Nick, your risk profile is all in your head. He said there's a dude.
Profile.
I got a little bit of the profile in my shoulder and my left knee.
Right.
Actually.
I think it's
9-month-old profile.
It's more than in my head, yeah. He said there's a dude in a sack with the same risk profile who send it. You can do it.
And a dude on a cooler, too.
A dude on a cooler. Shout out to Cooler Joe.
Cooler Joe.
One of the coolest dudes. Yes, one of the coolest dudes on a wheel.
Yes, he is.
Sorry, dad joke. I'm not even a dad. That's horrible.
Oh, that's funny. So Patty Mac said AMP set the bar for sure. Yes, it did. Do you feel, let me ask you that, Seth, do you feel like Amped lived up to your expectations? How do you feel?
I have to say that it didn't really hit me until about a week after what we had actually accomplished. Just Yes, it lived up to my expectations. It was beyond my expectations. I mean, nobody got seriously hurt. Jeremy had a knee injury, I think, and shout out to him. But we didn't have like serious life-changing injuries, which was
Right.
major for me. And everybody had a good time. Like, really, I went into it with the idea that if we didn't have a lot of injuries and everybody had a good time, then it was a success. And I would say by both of those metrics, it was a huge success.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I definitely feel like it was a success. I mean, for me, it's easy to say that though because I wasn't expecting any of it. So for me, it was a big ass surprise. I was like, okay, we're going where and doing what? Okay.
I don't think anybody knew what to expect.
Did you say Arkansas?
Right. Yo.
Even I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I was like, I worked really hard to put it on and to make sure all the pieces were in place, but I really counted on the volunteers and the people that came out ahead of time. And
Yeah.
without people like Brian Norris and Cooler Joe and
Brian.
Enrique and Greg and Trevin, and I mean, there's so many people. I could be
Coming
here for an
out
hour.
3, 4,
Just-
5 days ahead of time
Yeah.
before the event.
yeah, they were there a week ahead of time.
Yeah, and I want to
so-
say that to all the volunteers. I legitimately, hats off to you because I know he's not lying. I know that people came out well in advance, and there was a lot of work that had to be done before, during, and after. Excuse me, and I mean, because I put on a smaller event here, I know how it is when you don't have helpers. So to see everybody coming together and help, I'm like, see, this is what it's all about, because this is the way you get things done. Teamwork. Teamwork
Yeah,
makes
before
the
I
dream work.
forget, I got to shout out to my wife because she
Yes.
supported me in this,
Yes.
and she just kept on saying, follow your dream and do what you got to do. And so
Yes.
huge shout out to her. And my son Ben was there. One of my best friends in the world, Ron West. I am Ben Life. Ron was there too, and he was helping out, and he had no idea what to expect. Showing up in Benton, I said, "Hey, I'm going to need your help in Bentonville in September." He's like, "All right, I'll come out and help." He had no idea what to expect. By the end of AMP Games, he was riding on an EUC. He told me that wherever you're having an event next, I'll be there. So he integrated right into the community. I really came away with a feeling like we were all family.
Yeah.
Somewhat a dysfunctional family sometimes, but nonetheless a family. I mean, I've got to know you, Cobra, a lot better.
Yes.
I got to know Nick and Liv, and like I mentioned, Ron, Cooler Joe, everybody. And I just feel like we're just this band of brothers and sisters, and I feel like there's really nothing that can stop us at this point.
Yes. I love it. I really do love the feeling that I have. And it's our amped family, but it's more than just the amped family, because there's people from the Wheel Life family that couldn't make it to amped, and then there's everybody at amped, and then AVS family who didn't make it to the other two events. So our family just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger over every event that we have, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And I love the fact that we're all having a good time, doing things. More bonding time, Liv says. Yep.
You and I did that. We were calling the games in the live stream. We didn't even know that was going to happen. I mean, just everything came together. We're like, hey, let's jump in the broadcast booth and start calling the races. And I felt like, you and I had this instant rapport, and we were just able to. I mean, it felt like we'd been doing it for years, honestly.
Yeah. Felt like we had rehearsed it. That's what somebody told me. It was like, did you guys rehearse? Yeah, we rehearsed 2 seconds ago, right when we started. That was the rehearsal.
We were rehearsing on the live stream.
Yeah. Right. So tell everyone, this is just a rehearsal. So
well,
shouts out to Marty. Marty's in the house. What's up, Marty?
Right?
Hey, Marty. What's up, Marty?
Hey, the Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of the future of these events, though. Is it's in its infancy stage, so. A lot of people, the reality is they just can't make it out, or maybe, racing just isn't their thing, but they love to consume the content. They wish they could be there, whatever. Life has its things. It's expensive to go to these events, and you got to take off of work and all these things. And so, I think that's one of the things that really excites me most about what Anth is doing is whether they're hosting the event or going to an event to help support it. We help bring this to the masses, 0 day in real time, so people don't have to sit there. Like, I wasn't even supposed to be at AVS this fall, and Seth called me out to come help out and be a part of it. And I would have been sitting at home, not knowing what's
FOMO.
going on, wishing I was there, FOMOing.
FOMO.
It's 5-6 hours away from my house. Like, what am I doing with my life? Just depressed.
Yep.
And so I know a lot of people that wanted to be there that couldn't. Show a good example. His parents were watching him when he was racing, and when
Yeah.
he fell, they saw him fall.
In
And
another country.
in another
Like,
country, exactly.
That's
And
how you know we're reaching. We're reaching far,
Yeah.
people. His parents were in another country and were able to see their son. He fell, then he got up, and they were able to see he was okay. I'm like, you guys don't realize the global reach that this is starting to have, and I'm excited about it, like
Yeah,
super
very
excited about
exciting.
it. And just so okay, now we'll get into it. Well, first of all, the comment on screen, go ahead and like the video, please like the live stream so the algorithm will like it. But you guys were asking about, we're not gonna give specific dates yet. We'll do that a little bit later as well, the ones that we can. But there are going to be several events coming up this year. Just so you guys have a heads up, the Wheel Life Rally, possibly in August, a lot earlier this year. The Amped Electric Games, we're going back to Bentonville, but there's also another Amped Electric Games event. There's also another event that's not Amped Electric Games we're going to be at. There's at least, let me put it out to you guys this way, just so you have an idea. There's at least 5 events that you will see the Amped team, the Amped family at. So I am telling you that
Big commitment.
yeah,
Sure, we want to do that many?
yeah. Like if you have vacation time, don't do what I did and use it up last year. I mean this year actually. For next year, save it up so you can have some time to go on these trips. Because it's very difficult.
Eastgate Con in March. That's one. Yeah.
Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah. Now Eastgate
And the PEV takeover there. So it's not just
Yeah.
Eastgate. So if you guys are over there scoffing, they have a huge presence in Vegas. They throw it down. It's sick. Worth it.
I was gonna ask, like it's the Eastgate Con, but are we competing yet there, or is it?
Yeah,
or not?
yeah. They actually,
Okay.
so they approached us at AVS and said, "Hey, we want to open up Eastgate Con. We want to have EUC classes, and we'd also like it if you bring your bags out and do some jumping. So we'll have the
Nice.
3-foot ramp, the 5-foot ramp, the bags, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, really excited, because my Amp family is going to come here and join me for the Wheel Life Rally this year. And I'm super
finally.
excited for that because it was funny to me to see that was how only thing I did do was off-road like that. I didn't do Thunderdome type off-road, but for the Wheel Life Rally, it's off-road, and a lot of it is it's a lot of work. Like you work your muscles, and people are like, holy shit. But racing off-road when it's not like effortless to go, when you actually have to put some work in, and then you're battling elbow to elbow, and it was so much fun going through the woods, taking turns, squeezing between trees and trying to take each other, like get there first.
Yeah.
It's exciting, exhilarating, and thrilling, but I want everybody to experience it. This last year we had or this year rather, I keep thinking we didn't switch over yet, still same year. We had Mickey EVX from New York. He's a New York rider. He's used to zipping between cars, flying, and he's a great rider. He worked his ass off. He told me, he said, my legs are so fucking tired. I said, yeah, man. He said, but this was so much fun. I said, I know, but not everybody is open-minded enough. We also had a big group of guys who did not come because they're like, well, we're not into that. And I'm like, come on,
They're probably
guys.
street tires too.
Yeah.
You almost need an obby tire for that stuff.
You do. You do. A knobby tire works much better. So if you're coming to the Wheel Life Rally, knobby tire is the way to go. Definitely.
Yeah.
The ones with
I've
street
noticed
tires regretted it.
a lot of these races, while they have different classes, they also typically offer some type of open track, opportunities to get on these surfaces and
Hmm.
ride in ways that we don't usually get the freedom to do at home without cars, breathing down your back, or just wanting to push your wheel a little bit harder than what you would around a bunch of trees or light
Yeah.
poles or something like that. Same thing with the bags at Amped. That gave people the opportunity to have the confidence to go off a bigger jump and know that if they land wrong, they're probably not going to get as hurt as bad. Bags aren't the safest thing in the world, but they're a lot safer than
Yeah.
jumping off of a 5 foot ramp and onto a hard surface. It's a great way to just hone your skills and challenge yourself. And you don't have to look at the person next to you and say, how fast did you do it? And you challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And you learn and you bring that home. And every time I leave one of these events, even though I'm not always competing, every time I come home, I'm riding harder. I'm
Hmm.
riding with more confidence. My
Hmm.
turns are effortless.
Yep.
And that's the real take home for me as a non-competitive person in these things, is I'm learning and I'm honing my
Skills.
skills, and I'm still getting that opportunity to get on those surfaces I don't typically get on. So people that are intimidated should really set that aside at least once in their life and come out to one of these events and just feel that vibe from the community. Check out the opportunities, step outside of your comfort zone, but don't put yourself in too much danger. If that's what, if you got a small risk profile, sit next to me. You know?
I think also, just to kind of dovetail on what you said, at the beginning of the Amped Electric Games, when we got there, I said, the Amped Electric Games is all about progression. I said, I want to see you guys hit the 3 foot ramp and then hit the 5 foot ramp and then heck, maybe even hit the bigger ramp. So it's all about pushing yourself a little bit harder, a little bit harder, and a little bit harder. And what I was so proud of and so happy with was how supportive everybody else was.
Hmm.
You'd see somebody go off and they might not quite make it. And then everybody's like, "Come on, you could do it! Come on, let's do
Get
it
back
again!"
up
And then
there.
they would,
Exactly.
they
Hmm.
would go and they would get it, and the exhilaration and the rush. I think I was high for a month off of off off of just that, off of the excitement. I mean,
Yeah, it was
I
crazy.
it re-energized my spirit. It gave me the energy that I needed to keep going.
Hmm.
And to look at scheduling out the next Amped Electric Games,
Yep.
plural.
Yeah,
So,
it honestly
not drop
did.
another little hint there.
Marty made a good point there. He said, I didn't compete at Amped or AVS, but still had a great time. Marty was at both events taking video and photo and just hanging out with
Nice
us.
shots.
And
Yeah.
that's really the key part of it. Now, I still didn't continue my photo dump, but we have so many photos of us just hanging out. And that was like such a big key, because the enjoyment when you find like-minded people, the exhilaration you feel, the belongingness, that I mean, it's in our nature for a reason. We
Right.
live for that. And
Yep.
it was incredible, incredible, incredible. I don't know about you guys, but in a lot of the communities that I'm a part of, I'm a unicorn. You know what I mean? They're like, the
Because you're an
hell?
influencer.
They're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, they don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm around other people who do, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Not to have to explain myself. Why are
Right.
you doing that? You know what?
Yeah.
It's
Everybody out there is just as nerdy as you. Like, oh, what PSI you running in your tire? You know, oh, you like this street tire or that street tire? Like, and you just jump right in, and
Yes.
it's like you don't have to excuse yourself
Yeah.
because you're getting too nerdy with it or whatever. The other cool thing too, though, is like it's nice like seeing people online, seeing influencers post, but what's even nicer is running into those people and realizing they're just freaking human.
Just people.
They're just people, man. You go out there and you meet like Mike Leahy or Kelly or
Mhm.
EUC girl. They're just out there looking for the same thing as you, a good time and community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's everybody's on the same level, and it feels really good just to feel like, oh, here's my team.
Yeah,
You know?
and I love that. And like Seth said, I was a high for a month afterwards. It's like that happens every time we get together, though.
Yeah.
You know, I just coming back from AVS just now. I was like, you know what? I just can't. I was like, I don't know if I can focus and go to work tomorrow. I don't know. I'm like,
Well, that and you didn't get any sleep the night before. Sorry about that.
there's that too. It was a hell of a long trip. It was very painful, but it was well worth it. Well worth it.
Non-stop flights from now on, Kobe.
Yes, yeah. And I said that. I said the next time I do this shit, there's no way I'm doing a 5-hour layover. Like
No.
I just,
Hell no.
it murdered
It's
me.
worth the extra $100, I swear.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is
Exactly.
is if I had done it ahead of time, I would have been able to do that.
Right.
Doing last minute and trying to get a flight in the time that you need the flight, it's like,
Yeah.
I could take this one, but I won't get back the right day. I could take
Or
that
it's
one.
$1,000
Yeah.
extra or something. Yeah.
Yep. They're like, yeah, we'll get you there. What you
I
got
thought
in
that
your
was
wallet?
funny. I was
Right.
like, I said, Cobra, are you going to go to AVS? You're like, oh no, hell no. And then like 2 days later, you're like, so you got a spot for me at AVS?
That's how it
Oh
goes.
yeah, it's
how it
on
goes.
Friday. It's in 2 days.
I did the same thing with Nathan from Rev Rides. He's like, hey, you coming out to AVS? I was like, I don't know, man. You know, work's pretty tough right now. Got a lot going on. I should probably just keep it local. He's like, yeah, we'll catch up later. And Seth calls me the next day. He's like, hey, you coming out to AVS? I've got a spot for you. So next thing I know, you know, we're going. And it happens like that. And you put life on pause and you come back to the freaking chaos.
Yes.
And you're like, why did I do this to myself? But it's worth it every time. I do look forward to the days where, you know, we can just plan these things out and everything is just like super honky dory, come back with an extra day to chill. But, you know,
we're
that's
getting
not
there.
what it is right now.
We're getting there though. Like
Yeah.
we're getting over those hurdles.
Right.
Like now I know what it is to do it super last minute and have the worst flight ever. I know, so I know that. Okay, don't do that again. Like, you know, like so
Don't
next
lose the
time.
neck pillow either, huh?
Oh no! Oh, did they get back to you? Did he get back to you? No, he never did he?
Sent them
At
old
least
text,
you got your
yeah.
phone. At least you
Yeah.
got your phone back.
Yeah, I was like, oh Jesus. But shouts out to
Willie
Keith.
Brady.
Shouts out
Willie
to Keith.
Brady, man.
Oh, Willie Brady. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes. Matter of fact, here, hold on. Let me. Thanks for the super sticker there, Keith. But Willie
Keith is in the
Brady
house.
was a superstar. Willie Brady took me to the airport, and then I left my phone in the car. He had to turn back around and come back and bring my phone just
At
in
3
time.
o'clock in the morning.
Yes, 3 in the morning, just before the flight took off. Like, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna make it back in time before I have to go through the gate. Like, he did. I was like, oh, thank God.
I heard from him while he was on his way rushing back to the airport, and he said he was stuck in traffic and driving in the OHV lane. And that does not surprise me about Brady. If you've ever met Willie Brady, that story would not surprise you.
No, Willie
No.
Brady is the dude, man. And he's in Jersey, not too far, so I'm definitely have to get with Willie Brady. He hooked me up big time. Shouts
You owe
out to
him
you,
lunch.
man.
Oh,
Say-
hey, let me, speaking of Brady, he's having an event coming up on Sunday in New York City. They're going to be doing a speed test, radar test. They've got a radar gun,
nice.
and so they're going to be getting
Okay.
speeds. I think it's happening at 2 o'clock in the 2nd Street Tunnel. Reach out to Willie Brady on Instagram or Facebook if you're interested in attending that event. It's sponsored by Amped Electric Games.
Yeah,
Bring your gear.
Wish I wasn't.
your gear.
Yeah, bring your gear. Wish I wasn't working. Wish I wasn't working.
Charge your wheels.
So
Hey,
see,
don't they went and bought one of those guns, Cobra? Don't you have one of those in your?
I do. I do. I do have access to a LiDAR gun. I know. But
Call him off the tunnel that day, huh?
So Sammy Pacheco, we were talking about how everybody's so down to earth. He goes, no way that influencer guy Black Cobra is too Hollywood for me. He said he wouldn't even say hi. He's so stupid, Sam.
Sounds about right. When I met him, he demanded all purple Skittles. So
Christopher Lee said, y'all aren't just people, you are superheroes and celebrities. Oh, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate that. But that's all of us. I love the fact that we're all like a big deal to each other, and I like that.
I got serious. Sorry to interrupt you. At the last Airbnb we had like 6 bunk beds in one room. I got serious like amped cult vibes in there. I was like, is this becoming a cult? Like, is everybody wearing their Reeboks and getting ready for the comet to go by or something?
That's funny. That is funny.
Oh boy!
They definitely became like the communal beds. I think a few people kind of had to rotate through there just to get some rest and some reprise from the living room.
Yeah,
It was just so loud and so much activity. But you know, Copra and I, we were talking, and it's just like you get such limited time. You know, it's not like you get a day ahead of and a day after to hang out. You're there for the event, and the next day you're gone. And you know, Copra tried to go to sleep at like 12:30 or something, and
that didn't work.
No, that was not happening. So you know, we stayed up until it's time for him to leave at 3 in the morning, and you know, you just eat it up, and you get your rest on your way home, and you just can't wait for the next time to get out there. It's so revitalizing to the soul, right? To just be around the people that are vibing on the same thing. So
yep. So Wheelie Brady said he had a 10-hour layover. Then the plane was delayed 2 hours. Holy shit.
Pretty sure I saw 2 days worth of updates coming from Wheelie Brady at airports.
Yeah, he said driving or direct flight for sure next time.
I think his wheel might have beat him home in the mail.
I saw that video of him meeting the truck. And he's like, dude, my box is on here. I got my air tag says the box is on here.
The guy's like, I don't know.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, that's my box right there. Yo. That was
That's
crazy.
One way to track your package, huh?
Oh, Brady said anything for you, Cobra. I appreciate it, brother. I really appreciate it.
If anybody needs a PI, Wheelie Brady.
There you go.
So or a ride.
Yeah, or a ride. Thank you. Harry said, you know, right now it's the golden era. If the hobby takes off, then 10 years from now, it will be very different. And a lot of the camaraderie may be gone. Enjoy it. Yes. I mean, maybe, because you can't control everything. And once it gets, to the masses, you never know who's going to be a part of it. But all I do know is the ones that are part of it now are family.
Yeah, and I've been a part of groups for well over 10 years, man, and it's just like saying that every friendship or every relationship you has like an expiration date or something. Like sure, people move on. Like I could get in a bad accident and I have to move on or whatever. Maybe I'm not as involved, but other people will take my place. That's the beautiful thing. As a small business owner, I know that I'm replaceable and everybody else is replaceable, but if I fall off, it doesn't mean that I fall out of love with the people and the connections that I've made. This is a chapter that I'm very much in love with. And I hope that, at 65, I'm doing the same thing. Yep. And that, we're still working these events and meeting people and inspiring writers and stuff like that. So whether it's for a year or 10 years, I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think the same positive energy is going to be going into this thing for many, many, many years to come.
Well, we're going to be here for those years, so if we have anything to say about it, the positive energy is going to continue to flow. That's
right.
For sure.
That's right.
Because I'll be honest, I'm not just a positive person. I demand positive energy. Like
it's chosen.
I'm not going to be around people who don't have it. So, if you're not a positive person, then it was nice meeting you. Have a great day.
Just no time or energy for that, man. I mean, who wants to be pulled down when you're trying to climb up?
There you go. That's exactly it. That's it. We have to continue. Spartacus said, "Flow and grow." That's right. Right. We have to stay positive and stay true to what we're doing, and sharing it. So
And
anyway,
Electric Games isn't going anywhere, that's for sure.
no, if people understand that this is early in the game, like
Just getting started.
like we are just like this is like the tip of the iceberg. Excuse me, and I just love that we're doing so much. As a matter of fact, as I glance over, I look at the electric community and I look at like things like things like this. Remember those trikes that they had over there?
Oh yeah, those
Yeah.
were cool.
Those things are actually pretty sweet.
He outfitted police departments with those trikes, and I was like, dude, I said that's crazy, and I know that right now I can't see police departments riding wheels yet. They're not there yet, but I just look at the fact that these electric vehicles can do so much, and I know it's gonna go somewhere. I don't know where, and I don't care where, as long as we get to keep doing it. I just want to keep promoting it and trying to help others to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, because like Seth, I know you were saying that the wheels have really helped you. I was talking to someone today about it, and I'm like, you don't understand, you know, the frustration, the depression, what life brings you. Sometimes you don't know where you're gonna find that release and that outlet, and we've found it, and we found it out there on that wheel, and I try to explain that to somebody today. I'm like, you can't understand it until you ride it. You really can't. But once you do, you go, aha.
Yeah. It's really special. It's life-changing, man. It is really life-changing. And, I think everybody's got a different reason, a different story, and they're all valid, and they all fill us in the same way. And, I love my group rides, and I also really, really love my solo rides, because those are the ones that really kind of reset me and just make me feel rejuvenated and renewed, and I can take on all the stresses of life. And it's really interesting, some of the science behind it. Seth has talked about it a little bit in our conversations in terms of eye movement and what that does for our brain by constantly scanning back and forth. And I really don't know all the mechanics of it, but Seth has a really good understanding of it and explains it. And you start thinking about it like, wow, that's why I feel so good when I ride. And that's why, I think all of us want to share that with people who have a lot going on in their lives, or you just know that they need something in their lives to re-spark or rekindle that flame. And like for me, EUC was that. For Liv, EUC was that. She moved out here from California at the very beginning of the pandemic, and she didn't know anybody. And then we spent a year and a half locked in the house. We were sitting at this desk side by side for like 6 months, and I was her only friend, and she had nobody to talk to or hang out with, and EUCs were the answer. And then she has friends, she has community, she has purpose, she has fun, and all these things. It's really changed our lives and our relationship, and the people that we've shared this with, it's brought them closer together. And there's a reason you want everybody to experience it. And maybe when it's safer, when it's more known, when people see more people riding out there, which is why we do these learn how to ride at the park days. We just have to get these wheels in front of people and give them the opportunity. And once they get on, it's over, man. It's like, welcome to your rebirth, dude. Enjoy your new life.
Yes.
Start over.
Ruben says, I tell everyone the EUC community is better than actually riding, and I love riding. I'm like, that's funny, but it's true. Like,
it's true.
The only thing I love better than riding is the community of us. It's like true. I'm like, okay, very well said. But there's many people in the chat.
I love
that are
all the
saying
places that these things have brought me. I've been all over the country and met all kinds of people. And I'd like to say that one of the reasons why a lot of the people from New York came out is I went out to New York and I met those guys. I met Jeffrey and I met Sam, and we all hung out and
rode together.
They're like, rode together, and they're like, Arkansas, really? That seems kind of a long way to go.
You had to sell us on Arkansas.
To bring over 100 people from all over the country into one place, like, I feel like that was it was a huge leap of faith
Mm-hmm.
for you guys, and I really appreciate everybody that did that huge leap of faith, and hopefully that if you didn't come, you'll come next year, and if you
Yeah.
did come, you'll come back and be an alumni at the next one.
So
Come see all the improvements, a bigger and better amped every year.
there
Yeah.
you go.
Yes.
Doc Hogan says that Liv's still a better dancer than you, Nick.
I'll give her that one. I don't need that point.
She can keep that title.
She can have it.
Liv said
That's right.
EUC saved me mentally for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. It is hard to disagree with that. No matter how deep you were in your own depression or feelings or whatever, it's hard to argue any of us that ride these wheels. It's hard that they've helped us. It's like undoubted. It's obvious. It's actually an understatement because it truly gives us the freedom that we may not have in our life. And excuse us. I say us because me and Nick are both sick, and I can't get rid of this stupid cough. But
you gotta stop making out before these shows.
Yeah, I know, right?
Freaky stuff in the green room.
Sammy Pacheco said I've been to more places in the last 365 days than I ever in my life. Yeah.
I think that we'll probably never know the full scope of how helpful EUCs have been in terms of people's mental health and just getting away from the day-to-day stresses. I know people whose parents are dying. I know people who are going through bad breakups. I know people who just feel isolated, people who are agoraphobic and don't like to leave the house, and it's the only way that they get out. I mean, there are some it is changing lives in such impactful ways that most people probably will never admit the true brunt of why it is that they ride. And I'm just glad that I think I know that a lot of people are going through similar things, and it's just nice to know that we're all getting through it together.
Yes, definitely. Harry asked here, do you know when the next amped event in Europe will be? No.
We'll have to talk to Chapeau Duro and see if he can
That's what I was thinking.
Chapeau's over there. He's I can tell you, I can't say that I've been to more places because I've been to Europe like at least 5 times and around the world, like all kinds of places. But I can tell you I've been to different places than I've ever been with this wheel life, because I ain't gonna lie. When you say Arkansas in places like that, with this skin tone, I automatically do not think of going there.
You're lucky you're just barely in the tip, the
Listen,
northwest tip of it.
I do not think of going to places called Arkansas. I'm like, Seth, you sure?
Wheel automatically goes into transport mode as soon as it steps over the stable line.
I was like, are you sure?
You gotta admit though, that Bentonville was pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I loved Bentonville. I didn't have any negative experiences there at all.
No.
We went to the rail yard and we were doing our thing there, and still, like, no people that I met in the area, in the stores that I went to, the restaurants I went to, I didn't have an issue with anyone anywhere. So it was definitely worth the trip, and I was exceedingly glad that I went. And I still, to this day, continue to tell people with the same excitement that I had the day I came back how amazing it was. You know, and no one quite understands. I still get the same thing, you still doing that wheel stuff? Yes, I am.
Funny how they ask too. It's always that one wheel stuff or that wheel thing that you do.
Showtime said, Showtime was like, this has been like a trip to EUC Disney World.
Yes, she did say that while we were out there. That's true, and that was like a perfect phrase for it, because that's how it felt. We all felt like it was magic. It was
Yeah.
truly magic.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite experience? I think maybe we just go around and say like,
Yeah.
what's the thing that sticks out that was like the pinnacle for your experience when you were at the Amped Electric Games in Bentonville?
Well, that's hard to say.
Yeah.
It really is, because I guess I would say a couple of things, and the two things that I mentioned: jumping, because I never thought I would, and Thunderdome, because
Yeah.
I could never see myself on a downhill slalom race course. Like, I would never have imagined that I would be doing that on one wheel. Like, I never.
Yeah.
So those two things alone, that the ramps, I
Yeah.
saw those ramps and my heart dropped. I'm like, I can't jump that damn thing.
Huge. They're
I was
beautiful,
like,
but they're huge.
Yes. When you're standing next to it, you're like, shit, I ain't riding up that. Like, and I'm like, okay. So I think those two things like blew my mind, and it was like the pinnacle for me. I was like, oh my God, I'm really here. This is really happening.
Yeah. What about you, big boy?
Um, well, for me, it's probably maybe two things that really stand out. I think the rain in the beginning of the week, while it was kind of a bummer because we didn't get all the races in there, I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because those classes and the games that
Yep.
everybody was playing, it just really broke the ice, and it got the competitors to work with each other and to have fun with
Yeah.
each other and compete on a more lighthearted level, and just seeing all that joy inside, like that. What do you call that? It's like a warehouse, but it was a convention
The
center, big open
exhibit
area, but
hall.
exhibit hall. Yeah, everybody was just having a great time. So that one really stood out to me. And then, of course, like, finally getting some bags in there, and, another testament
Yeah.
to the power of the community and making things happen. The
Mm-hmm.
bags that were supposed to be there didn't show up, and somebody on site made a phone call, and we were able to get bags. And then seeing,
Yep.
Shippy jump that bus that we had anticipated all year
Yeah.
long,
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, so those two things, anytime you can get the community together, anytime you can get people who typically aren't rubbing elbows with each other, having fun together and laughing and smiling and riding, I think it's just a good thing.
So how
Yeah.
about you, Seth? What
Yeah.
would you say the highlights for you?
So for me, I was in Bentonville probably 6 months, 8 months ahead of time, making plans, riding all these areas, mapping out, doing YouTube videos. And I'll tell you one thing, man, when I was standing up there and watching the jump train go by at the rail yard, I had the biggest heart. I mean, it was just, I could feel my chest just like expand. And I just felt so much love for everybody that came out and put their trust in that I was going to put on this event, or we were going to put on this event, and drove so far, and and the smiles on people's faces,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just that whole thing, the love that I felt at that event. I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy or corny or anything, but
No,
it
wonderful.
really touched me in in a really deep way, and to have people come up at the end and say, this was the best time I ever had in my life. I came here not knowing anybody, and I left with 100 new best friends.
Yeah.
Shippy,
It was
when he
hard to
jumped the
leave,
bus.
right?
It was hard to leave.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Shippy, after he
emotional.
jumped the bus, he said that was the highlight of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of those things just really, it made me realize that everything that we had done had been worth it.
Yeah.
And that this idea is something that can go on, and that we need to spread that, and what the world needs more of is, it needs more Amped Electric Games.
There you go.
It needs more places
What
for
the
people
world needs now.
to come together and,
That's
and,
right.
and to celebrate the things that we have in common. We spend so much time, otherizing people and thinking about how different we are, but what really we need is to think about the ways that we're similar, because we have way more things that we have in common than we do that we're a part of,
That's true.
a part on. And well,
So
you know,
true.
so I really felt like that the jump line, and then I was so sad after everybody left. I was at the rail yard and there was nobody there, and I was just
Empty,
like,
just quiet.
I could like in my mind's eye, I could just still see
See
people,
everybody.
like the trace of people just still going,
Yeah.
and now all those feelings just came rushing back to me
Craziness.
when I did that.
Craziness.
It really was one of the highlights of my life. I mean, the whole experience was the most fulfilling thing that I've ever been involved in. And I just want to keep it going. I just want to do it again and again and again.
Yes.
And
Well,
that's
let's
why
do it.
that's why I recruited you guys to come back, and why we've been doing this. And one other thing I do want to mention is a lot of the ideas that came out at the Amateur Lecture Games, the VIP program, for instance, that was Nick, that was Big Boy Fast Boy. I mean, that was one of the first things he said is, why don't you reach out to the, some of the top riders and get them to come out? And so, a lot of his ideas came through. I was the, I put the plan in, I put his
He was
plan
the
into
muscle.
place, and we talked a lot. We spent a lot of time on the phone. I mean, thank God we don't have to pay long distance bills anymore, because it would have been,
Remember those days?
Yeah, like paper text or something like that, Yeah, it was.
And
it
still
was pretty
to this
gnarly.
day, I mean, yeah, we stay up all night. I think last night we were talking at 2-3 o'clock in the morning about tracks. So,
Yeah, if
we're
anybody has a
constantly-
cool 200 grand, we've got a really nice luxury track we can book for like a year. They had another option for 85, but if we can
Oh,
do
Lord.
85, we can hit 200, right?
Well, that's the crazy part about it is, we're at a point where we're only limited by our funds right now, because our ideas and enthusiasm are through the roof. So as things come together and come into focus, we'll be able to do more and more and more, and we'll continue to push each other, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
Devo said that we're Trekkies but with EUCs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, or Chris Torino says Comic-Con but for EUCs.
Pretty soon, we'll probably all be on EUCs at Comic Con.
Yeah, I would. I'd ride the M10
M10-4s all day, right?
I'd ride it around in there.
As long
Doc
as your
Hogan.
ankles can keep up.
a Grateful Dead tour EUC. We just every month we're just in another venue in another
Yep.
city around the country.
That's coming. I mean, it seems like that's the way things are like rolling.
Yeah.
Doc Hogan got some serious words for us here. Doc Hogan said EUCs are bringing now for mental health decompression what motorcycles did 30 years ago. Now bikes are more like the image, different in exact same way as everyone else, and posturing than independence. EUCs manage to capture the community and retain the independence and individuality.
Yeah. Or even more, I think it allows you to stretch out even more than on a motorcycle, because you can really dive deep into your curiosity, right? Like while you're on that sidewalk or that bike path or on that trail that, when you see something and you're in the car, you can be curious, but you keep driving.
Yeah.
But on the EUC, like you get to fulfill that curiosity right away, and as much or as little of it as you want. Like if you want to keep going straight, you just keep going straight. If you want to be curious, you make a right. And so like that to me is actually, it seems small, but to me it's big, because now I'm going way more places. I'm not passing way more places and being curious about it and saying, I'll check it out some other time. I'm going to check it out now. And what's interesting is like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And you make that turn and you fulfill your curiosity and you're like, damn, why haven't I been doing this more often? Like I had no idea this was down here.
Yeah.
And that payoff, that ability to satiate your curiosity on the spot every time, like it's something that you don't get to do every day, because society calls that being ADD.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I like is how it's a full sensory perception. I when I was going through New York City, I could smell each neighborhood had a different kind of a smell, depending on whatever was cooking, if it was the Chinatown or Little Italy or whatever. You go through and you it's a lot like on a motorcycle where you go through like cold air bands and warm air bands, and it'll kind of wash over you and you feel it. So
And
it's
it's tickling
all
your
of the,
senses constantly.
you're just always have this broad. You hear,
Yeah.
little animals scurry through the brush. You smell the smells. You see the sights. It's just it's like a 4D experience.
Yeah.
Anytime I go on a ride, and
Yep.
that's one of the things that I
agree.
really like about it.
I've never been as close to deer in my life.
Or
That's
mountain
a bad
lions or
bear.
bears or
Yeah,
elk.
well,
Or,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any mountain lions or bear, but I've seen deer run like right up to me. I was like, what in the hell? Like, this is wild. And looking at me like, and then took off a whole family. Like, I could touch them. They were that close. I was like, this is crazy. You know, but you're riding around in the woods and stuff. And I when you were saying, Nick, about being able to just, oh, what's over there? Oh, let's go. I love that feeling. And when you're turning and you turn your whole body, I'm a dancer, so I'm very expressive. And I feel like you can express yourself when you're on the wheel. Like, you're turning.
Your style, your swag, right?
Yes.
Your ride swag.
I do a lot of carving because I just feel it. Like, my whole body feels the ride. You know, it's not the same on a motorcycle where you're seated and you grip in the handlebars and that's it.
Yeah.
On this,
you get off and you can't get your hands out of this grip right here.
Right. So on the wheel, you're dancing and grooving and you feel real, like, it just feels good.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm seeing you now, Nick, on that Master Pro, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little upset. But
get your order in, man.
Well, see, the way my bank account works, right? There's a checking and a savings, and it ain't gonna clear. It's just not gonna clear.
Oh, you don't have the third account. You got to get the credit card. Don't you know how that's how this works, man?
I gotta get. I know. I need a better, like, I don't know. I got a better setup. Let's put it
This is
that
not
way.
financial advice, by the way.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, this bad boy up here is pretty amazing.
Oh yes.
The Sherman S. I've been riding a lot on that lately.
I've been watching you jumping on it, which I didn't think people were gonna do.
There's
going to be nothing left for us, Cobra.
I know. We're waiting to test it out, and I'm like, he's doing everything. Like, well, what is left for us? But then again, I'm like, yeah, but I'm not hitting the jumps he's hitting at all. So go for it, Seth. Go for it.
I asked him the other day, low-key, I said, you getting any bearing issues or anything? It's like, it's still running, right? Like,
that thing is a tank, man. So Sherman S. from Free Motion Shop, for those of you that don't know.
Shouts out to Free Motion.
Yeah, I've had it for about a month. That thing is a tank.
Yeah.
You know, all of the jumping and all of the demos that we did at AVS, 30, 40, 50 people probably wrote it and dropped it. And that thing, it doesn't even
it got
squeak.
dropped several times.
There was a lot of droppage.
Pretty minimal damage.
A lot of droppage.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a tank. I'm excited to see what comes out, you know, with the Commander Pro that's coming out. That's going to be interesting. So there's, you know, what another thing I like about this industry is that, you know, we get psyched up and we have these wheels come out and stuff, and you know, a lot of times we're let down by first batch stuff. But it seems like there's always something that's, you know, on the horizon, and that M104 was the biggest surprise for me for this year.
Such
that
a cool
M104,
wheel, man.
Yeah, that's right. I got mine right over here. That was the sleeper wheel for me. I had no idea that thing was coming out, and I'm so glad I bought that one.
Yeah. Well, there's
a really fun wheel.
There's a lot. So Keith Mercado says that his 3 things from Amped was meeting all of the writers and the content creators. That's number 1. Number 2 was Thunderdome, and number 3 were crashes with minor injuries. He said honorable mention, coffee shops.
Yeah.
So, Sammy Pacheco said, "What's long distance?" I said, "Okay, young one. I know you're too young to know what long distance is."
Dropping a dime.
Yeah. When you had to go
before 10-digit dialing too, by the way.
When you had to go to right.
8675309.
Yeah.
Right.
When you had to go to the go with a pocket full of quarters because you got to keep putting money into.
What county were you
calling
in?
Calling collect.
Yes. Would you accept the charges? What charge? What are you talking about?
Hell no.
No way.
No,
Oh,
that
remember
was
when
the
you-
thing is
remember
when you call collect.
they'd be
When you
like,
call-
"Who is this?" You'd be like, "Hey, mom, come and pick me up." Click.
Exactly. You leave the message in the collect call request, so they didn't have to accept it. It's like, I'm ready to go. Come get me by. Better not stutter like I did either.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's crazy the stuff we've been through, and here we are. Hey, it's EUC girl. What's up, Nadia?
What's up, Nadia?
He
How
was
you
at
doing?
He was at Amp Electric Games.
Yes, Zachary.
no
Big
She just
footer,
built
no
some really
hammer,
cool
no
ramps
footer.
with her dad.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cool.
She's been really getting it in. Nadia, some of those jumps are crazy and the slow mos. Yo, I was watching her with the. He said, "What are quarters?" Now he said, "What are quarters?" He's so stupid. He said, "Can you send quarters via Cash App?"
I was thinking PayPal them. Oh, let me send you 4 quarters through PayPal.
Yeah, Nadia, those slow motion shots that your dad keeps getting of you jumping through the air. I never get tired of watching them. Like, and then your dad is such a good. He does such a good job with editing the slow motion. Then he's got the music that makes you feel like everything. And I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. I'm like, if I didn't ride, I'd want to ride now.
You know, when she
cinematic.
goes really big and full mainstream, I think he's got his position secured as her manager and content creator at least.
Yeah. So yeah, Devo said it right. He said Nadia is the future gem of radical riders. Yeah,
right.
no, Nadia, we definitely give you credit, honey. You're humble, you're fearless, and you're amazing. So keep doing what you do. Every one of us has used you in a story sometime or other, I'm sure, because I talk about you a lot when people ask about what's so amazing, and I'm like. One of the things I said, we have riders that are, in their 60s, and then we have riders that are in like 10, 11, 9. I said, and they're like, little kids do it? I said, let me show you a video. And I show Nadia jumping the bus. And they're like, what?
That's not fair, though. That's not fair, because then you're setting the bar so high to make it seem like everybody does this. They don't realize that she's special.
Yes, no. And I tell them that. I said, listen, this sport is exhilarating and thrilling, but there's some people. It's Liv. Hey, Liv.
It's Liv.
Oh,
You
there's
just brought this
EUC girl,
EUC
Nadia, right there. Look at her. We got you,
coaster
Nadia.
here. Look at that.
There you go. There you go.
This was a gift that Nadia had given us from at Amped this year.
Yeah, I was
so we
talking
can
about
take
that.
it
cool.
It's still on my dining room table.
Love it. Love it. Those are the coolest couples
Yeah.
holders in the industry right there.
So, shouts out to EUC Vibes. Tommy's in the house. What's up, Vibes? I tell
Tommy,
you,
it was great to meet him at the games. I'd never met Tommy before, and
Yeah.
we stayed up all night one night talking and riding around in that exhibit hall, all around and around, listening to music.
He's
and
a fun
stuff,
dude.
And,
yeah.
he is. He's great. I mean, that guy lives, drinks, eats, breathes EUCs.
Yeah.
He's
probably
always
the
on the
next most-
pulse, right?
He legitimately spends, I feel like he spends every waking moment scouring to find videos to share with everybody. He's like, oh, that looks cool. Let me share that. Oh, that looks cool. Let me share that. I'm like,
Yeah. If I need my 0-day news, I'm checking out EUC Vibes pretty much right away. See what he has to say about it.
Patty Mac said, you know the vibes.
Showtime.
Roger said, E-Rider A. Somebody was asking about who the guy who crashed at the bottom of the berm of the Thunderdome and went over the edge. That was Brett. E-Rider A, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was probably the
scariest.
Maybe like the scariest one that happened there. Anytime you have a crash, it's scary and you don't want anyone to get hit. But whenever you have a rider lose consciousness for any amount of time, it's a serious event. And it's just so important. There are a lot of gear police out there, and you can call me one of them. But like when you're out there and you're pushing limits, you're riding anything beyond spirited. You have to wear that helmet. You got to wear
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
appropriate
yeah.
gear. The more we get injured, the less riding. So
Yeah.
I'd rather wear some gear, get back up, dust myself off, and get back on it. So good thing he was really well geared and
He was.
came out
How about
fine.
where he landed though?
Yo, my God, he landed on a bike. Like, I'm like, how the odds up over the
But
berm.
there were 3 medics. He landed in front of 3 medics. I mean, they were on that. I have to say though, I mean, you guys brought me back to probably the lowest point of the games. I have to say. I mean,
Yeah, scary.
I had tears coming down my face, and I thought to
Mhm.
myself, none of this would be worth it if somebody got seriously injured.
Yeah.
That was what I was going through my mind. And when everybody started cheering and I turned around and he's up, and I was like, oh my God, it was like a lead weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I was just so happy that he was
Yeah.
okay. And plus he was such a nice guy. He helped
Yeah.
out so much. He was such
Yeah.
a great volunteer. I mean,
Well, I
it
didn't.
was,
I didn't
yeah.
realize that was him in the chat. So shouts out to Brett E-Rider.
E-Rider.
Yeah, you did,
Glad
man.
you're all right.
You brought us on a roller coaster ride while we were there, because you are like, his energy, same thing, not just energetic and enthusiastic, but like one of the guys that you always, oh, there he is, what's up? Like, he always had a great attitude no matter where you saw him or when. And then when he went over the berm, everybody went, like my heart dropped, because I was only a couple feet away, and I was like, oh my God. Oh, I'm like,
It's scary. It happens so fast.
I almost dropped my camera to go running over there, and then I looked up and I go, like he said, oh, the medics are right there. And I was like, I'm like, whoo! I'm like, they don't need me. The medics are right there.
It's just like in real racing, man. Like at car racing and stuff. You're on the edge of your seat and you're watching all the action go down, and then all of a sudden an accident happens, and it's just crazy how that adrenaline can dump so quickly and turn into like concern.
Yeah.
Same thing happened at AVS with Show and Douglas. There were several crashes out there, but especially that one probably being the most notable. It was on the very last turn, and
Yeah.
anytime you see someone lose the lead and get in an accident,
Well,
it's
that one and Roger and Ustride.
yes, yeah, that was
like,
another
what?
really epic one, and man, the photos that came out of that one, you couldn't piece that together any better than it was captured. 2 wheels in the air and the guys sliding out like
crazy.
that
EUC
was
girl
intense.
said, thanks, Seth, for having the medical team there.
Yeah.
Nadia said that. That's another one of the things that gets me, is how I feel like we are reaching so many people, younger generation through her, older generation, where people are like, I'm too old for this, and they're like, oh, maybe I'm not. I love the wide range of people that are riding wheels and that I believe are part of this community. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. But you see, Vibe said he landed on the stretcher. Not quite on the stretcher, but
What was great about Brett was every time I turned around, every time I looked at him, he'd say, what can I do to help you?
Yep.
It was like the first thing he said, what can I do to help? What can I do to help?
Yep.
And I was in most of the time I was in just like a go, go, go mode. And I was just like, can you grab that table and run it over there? And he's like, gone, like say no more.
Yeah.
And that's how most of the people were at Amped. Everybody, like people bought tickets, and, I said I'd give people like a free ticket to come and help. And there were so many people that bought tickets and also volunteered.
Yeah.
There were people that bought jerseys and tickets and didn't even come because they wanted to support the games. So I just feel like this is such a loving community and such a supportive community to push for that. Maybe they couldn't come to this games, but they know that their contribution will help, and it will help propel us to the next games.
Yeah.
And without revealing too much, it will help us.
Well,
So don't you want to give them a little tease of what's to come?
A little tease?
You don't
All
have
right,
to.
I'll give a little
You don't have
tease.
to.
So the next Amped Electric Games will be in the first half of 2023 at a location that has both a on-site, a dirt track, and an asphalt track. And
Wow.
those
Wow.
are my hints.
So we have 6 months or less to wait for this next
Yeah,
event.
let's make an announcement. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let's
for
set a
it.
date to do an announcement. You want to do like
All right.
maybe we'll do. You want to do next Thursday? We'll do another.
You
live
want to
stream,
do
or-
why don't we do a January 1st announcement?
Oh, okay.
All right.
New Year's.
New
And
Year
let's
announcement.
put
Is
it
that
this
too
way.
late?
New Year's is gonna be.
No.
It's gonna have a few announcements. So we'll start dropping the bombs in January. Just know that, like I said, there's at least 5 events coming up. At least.
Maybe we'll see if people can guess what city it's going to be in.
Ooh, there you go.
Ah.
First one to guess right gets a free ticket.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh.
Let's do that.
Hold on.
We'll put up a
One guess
put
per
up a
person.
form online. Put up a form on ampedelectricgames.com, and we'll get you guys out some information on. You can join the mailing list there and sign up for our announcements, and
Definitely.
then we'll say
Nice.
whoever can guess the next location. And if you know, don't give it away.
Yeah, don't
guys.
cheat. Don't cheat.
No cheaters.
Know that
Honor
there's
system.
some people out there that already might have a good hint. But
There are some
Yeah.
rumor mills going around, but nothing has been confirmed.
Well,
there's some other events, guys. Tucson is coming up next month, so
Tucson.
January 15th. There's a Tucson event going on.
That's actually the next event. So
Yep.
Roger said Marty called his family thinking that it was Roger who crashed. Because remember, he was wearing the Eevees jersey,
Oh,
and
that's
Roger was
right.
wearing he had that last jersey.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
so Marty thought it was him, so he was calling his family, I guess.
Oh, wow.
See, the community sticking together.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, I just Vibe said Brett is his favorite Canadian. We already got some guesses: Colorado, Oregon, Texas. Okay, Las Vegas,
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma.
Jamaica.
I would be
Jamaica,
down
baby.
for a games in Jamaica. Aruba.
Yeah.
We're already talking about Aruba, right?
I'm with it. I don't know how we're gonna get the wheels there, but I'm with it.
I
guess-
was thinking the same thing.
We're going to have to
Rocking,
take a
man.
cruise, guys.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. Can you imagine us riding around the deck of the ship on the wheels?
I don't know. All
Tell
that
her, hey,
saltwater contact and stuck on a boat. I don't know.
Tell them, hey, your the group ride will be leaving from the veranda deck.
We'll be going down the
We
steps.
should do an amped cruise.
Amped cruise.
Games cruise.
Yes.
You got
So-
it on that shuffleboard. You have to go at a certain speed and then stop on the number.
Brake test. Brake test. Yeah.
Can they empty the pool?
Yeah. So, excuse me. This has been so crazy, but there is so many things that I don't know about you, but talking about this stuff, it's like we haven't even done it yet, and I'm already super excited about it. Like we have, we're just planning and stuff. But one of the things I wanted to mention also, Seth, the Wheel Life Rally last year, I had that same experience that you mentioned, and I want to put that out there because I think it's important. There are some people who don't understand, and that's the reason why I wanted, all of us to sit and just. I don't think you quite understand what an undertaking it is to bring an event. It's huge. It's a lot of work, and at the Wheel Life Rally, I had a couple of people send me money after they were there, after they already bought their ticket, after they already got a t-shirt, after they were competing, because they just wanted to help, because they know how difficult it is to put on an event. And that's how I knew when Seth was talking about, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a lot of money. Like, I'm like, oh my God, and it's a lot. So when people are
Money's just
open-minded
like a
and
small portion of it. That's not
yeah,
even the hard part, really. When you like look at the work
it's
that needs to be done, it's like the money is like the smallest part of it. Like
it
the
is,
hard
and it's
part is
like
the
it,
organization and logistics.
trying to get over that though. And I'm saying that because there were some people that didn't make it, and there was a concern, and I don't like to bring negative into anything. So I guess I look at it like this: there were some people who were not quite clear on how hard it is to bring in an event, how much money it costs, and how difficult it is to try and get over that hump. And so when you're trying to decide to do it, you're like, can I really do this?
Yeah.
And it was a big undertaking. And like I said, the first 2 years, I just paid for everything. It's just out of my pocket. And it was like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Last year was like, I can't do this. I
And the
can't do it
work on
again.
top of it, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
huge undertaking.
it is. And to have people realize that and be like, hey, I want to help.
Yeah.
That is magical. Some people helped monetarily, but other people's helped physically, like you said.
Right.
And it's the energy drain that it takes, the toll it takes on you, is so overwhelming. I remember telling Seth a couple times, dude, get some sleep, because Seth was like not sleeping, like, and I knew what it was because my event is much smaller than his, and I was going through it, and I'm like, I know what he's going through. Your mind won't shut off because all you're
It takes
thinking
a
about
special
is
person.
all the things you're doing. It's like, damn it, I gotta do this. Wait, damn it, I gotta do that. Okay, this wasn't done yet. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, when I get up, I'm gonna and like, I just want. So when we're giving Seth all these kudos, it's because we know what he's going through. We know what he's doing, and we're trying to take a little load off to help.
Yeah.
Because it takes a village to get this done.
Yeah.
It really does. So just keep that in mind. And I'm saying it, but I know everybody already knows it. That's why so many people have helped.
Yeah.
So
There's a
many
lot that people don't know, like you mentioned. Like, I can't tell you how many times over the last several months I've talked to Seth, and even though like we keep in touch pretty much on a daily basis now, I couldn't even tell you what state he was in most of the time because he was literally bouncing around that much. I'm not exaggerating. I literally had no clue what state. I knew he wasn't home.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what state he was in either, and I didn't know which direction he was going. Are you going towards home or away from home? Like, how much do you have ahead of you, and how much is behind you? And
You're
spent
saying
a lot
that,
of
but
time out of state.
I did the same thing. I texted him. I'm like, hey, I don't know where you're at, because I'm like, 1 minute you're in New York, 1 minute you're in Denver, 1 minute you're in Arkansas. I don't know where you're at, but
Well, a lot
The
of people
amount of
don't
time
realize
and
is that
effort, man.
starting at the beginning of the year, I started traveling around and getting interviews. If you go to Amped Electric Games on YouTube, I did interviews with Liv, with EUC Girl, with Mike, with just people all over the place. And I really wanted to tell. Amped Electric Games was always about the riders. It was never about me. I didn't want to showcase myself. I just wanted to expose the public and other people to why does EUC Girl jump? Why does Mike Leahy do what he does? Why does Kelly Chameleon? What makes them? What drives them? That's the story I wanted to tell with the Amped Electric Games, and that's the story we're going to continue to tell.
More to tell on that, yeah.
Going into this next year, we're going to be continuing to bring rider profiles and show the stories behind the riders and what brings them out to these events and why they come. And I think that this is probably a really good time to make an official announcement. I know we talked about making an announcement, but both Cobra and Nick are on the permanent Amped Electric Games team. You're looking at the Amped Electric Games team here. So anytime we go to an event, these two are going to be there. Also, Ron West is also on the team.
What up, Ron?
What up, Ron? Somebody that you guys don't know is JBC. He's a new rider. He's going to be doing some marketing for us. So we'll probably be bringing him in on a future live stream. But really the five of us, and I feel like we're kind of assembling like the Marvel superhero
That's
team
right.
or something.
Why do I hear Avengers theme in the back of my head? while we're all circling on wheels. Dun, 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 dun.
everybody has a niche. Everybody has something that they specialize in, that they do well. And the team, we have a lot more spots open on the team. So if there's other people that are out there and you want to help out with graphic design or video editing or marketing, or heck, even if you just want to schedule some group rides in your neighborhoods, we can help to support those group rides and get you out stickers and hats and whatever. Because the goal is to spread the name, spread the Amped Electric Games, the Stoke, spread it to everybody far and wide. And just, I mean, I would love it if EUC/PEV became like as big as NASCAR,
Yeah.
or as big as Nitro Circus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my vision. Is I could see us being, somebody told me the other day, like, oh, if you guys are good enough, maybe you'll get on X Games. I was like, we are going to be the X Games. We are the Electric X Games.
Yeah.
So that's where
it's a whole new category of sport that's definitely yet to come to full fruition. We're just dabbling our toes in it in such an unofficial capacity right now that the developments are going to be insane over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's true. E-Rider
and we're starting to get
E-Rider A said stickers, hats. DM me later, Seth.
we're getting a lot of interest from some pretty strong corporate sponsors and things like that now. I'm not going to name drop anything. I don't want to get any bad luck, but the idea is that we'll continue to be a community support event, a community governed event, even if we do take some money to help us out with some of the costs and things. I never intend to sell the Amped Electric Games and to have it turn into what BMX did. A few years ago, BMX became really corporate, and now it's very cutthroat. You got little 6 and 8 year old kids that are knocking each other off bikes and breaking arms, and that's just part of it. I want to keep the integrity in the sport. I want to make sure that we continue to keep the community in the sport.
Tell the stories, find the stories, get to the deep. Get off the surface level.
Yep, exactly. And to also just show people that these things can save your life. It saved my life. I mean, PEVs 100% without a doubt. If I wouldn't have got on that first one wheel, I would be dead by now. I mean, I was in really bad shape, and getting outside and moving and moving forward, and it really changed my life. And that's why I'm so devoted and so passionate about this sport, and I want to bring it to as many people as I can, because I just feel like there's a lot of people out there that are hurting and suffering and had past traumas like I did, and they don't know how to get around them. Years of talk therapy can be melted away in a few minutes on one of these devices, and people don't realize that.
And I think that's, to me, one of the biggest things that drives me, I guess, because things become stale to me, like, really quickly. I'm always the guy who's, like I said, squirrel. Like, I'm always off to the next thing. Yeah. But there's something about these wheels that it's the next ride, not the next thing, because these wheels bring me to such magical places, even if it's around the block. It's the magic that I feel when I'm on the wheel is just unexplainable. Yeah. I feel like like electricity. If you touch somebody and it spreads to them, I feel like, listen, if I could just put you on it, I'm telling you, you're gonna feel it. So I'm trying to. You're trying to bottle that lightning, but you want to like pass it to everyone.
You want to give someone else a sip.
Yeah, you're like, come on, man, come on. You don't understand. Look, just hold my hand right here. Let me give it to you. That's how exciting I feel about the wheel, and I'm glad that I'm in it at this stage, because someone just said, it's in its infancy, and it really is. We have a long way to go. A lot of things that we can do. But I'm just glad to be a part of it, because the joy is real, the therapy is real, and the camaraderie is real. So, absolutely. I just want to say I love you guys, man.
Let's hold hands. Let's all hold hands.
Yeah. I really love you guys too. It's been a great experience, and I love watching the community come together. AVS was just such an escalated move, I feel like, not only between the competitors but also the vendors. That, you know, there are only a couple, there are only a few vendors in this market that support these races and make it
Yep.
possible. You know, Rev Rides, Alien Rides, and EVs are like the
Mm-hmm.
main three. And I'm
Free
telling you,
motion
man,
shop.
without those
Free motion.
three, this would all just be a dream.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Amped would still have a little thing going, but it still isn't. You know, for as a good example, I know we probably got to wrap up soon. You know, Amped Electric Games probably would have failed without Rev Rides being there and iRides being there, working on riders' wheels, getting racers' wheels back up between races because they were having problems, or, you know, a suspension blew out, or you know, they had days of work at those benches next to the track in
Yeah.
really crappy conditions.
Yeah.
And, you know, they didn't know, Rev Rides didn't know, iRides, none of them knew that's what they were going into, but
Mm-hmm.
they were there and they took it on the chin and they kept a smile on their face and they
Mm-hmm.
kept the riders happy and they kept the races going.
Yeah.
And so
And
it's really important. I just want to say that people need to support these companies. You
yeah.
know, when you're thinking about a place to purchase a wheel from, think about the ones that support the communities. Think
Mm-hmm.
about the ones that support the riders. Think about the ones who show up to the events and sponsor the events, who are giving out the prizes. They're eating that cost and probably not making much money on EUCs, in
At
the
all.
hope that one day it will be adopted and appreciated by the masses. So, you know,
Yep.
big thank you to Rev Rides, Alien
Shouts out
Rides,
to Nathan
EVs.
and Rev Rides.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be too swaying, but I will say Rev is kind of my
Yeah.
distributive choice.
I also,
Also shouts out to Alien Rides.
That's right. They're doing badass stuff too, by the way. Like, you know, they're doing a little bit different in that, like, they've got the CNC machine and they've got all this ability to create something from nothing. So we're gonna see some really cool stuff. And then Rev Rides is building their Kodo bikes that,
Yep.
you know, from scratch, that are just, you know, like Super
Check
73
my
killers.
Instagram. Check my Instagram.
Woo.
I just put the videos
Yep.
out there.
I also
So much
want to
exciting
say
stuff.
I am so so proud of us in the community for supporting the American Childhood Cancer Organization
Yes.
through these
Yes.
events.
Yep.
With the support of both EVs and Free Motion Shop, we were able to raise over $4,000, close to $5,000.
Jeez.
So that you know, to be able to go out and put
That's
on this
huge.
event and have a blast and do everything that we did, and then also give back, it was
That's
it was
huge.
very fulfilling, and I really appreciate the partnership that I've had with Bradley. Also, Bradley sponsored the Amped Electric Games. You know, they weren't doing a lot of support there or anything.
EVs,
They were
yep.
there as far as the charging station, the cooling station. That was awesome, but you know, they also they purchased everybody's tickets for the Thunderdome. So
Yeah.
everybody,
Shouts out to
you know,
EVs. Yeah.
all those
It was
tickets
great
for the
having them there.
Thunderdome were on
Yep.
EVs, and you know,
And
of
congrats
course,
to Bradley. He just got married.
Yes.
Yes.
Congrats, Bradley.
If you're
Congrats.
watching,
Oh.
Congrats,
that was
Bradley.
awesome.
In the
But yeah.
Maldives. I'm sure that was difficult.
Yeah. So Free Motion Shop and EVs, if you guys, those are both Canadian companies. You want to buy a wheel up there, definitely check them out.
Yeah.
And if you guys at the end of the year, for your end of the year giving, please consider the ACCO, American Childhood Cancer Organization.
Yep.
They're at acco.org. They helped Turbo NYC, Chris and Chrissy, one of our VIP riders. Their son had cancer, and they were there to help and support them through that journey. I'm happy to say that he is now cancer free. But they told me that without their support, it would have been a lot harder. So for these families that are raising these children that are afflicted by cancer, I can't think of much better of a charity for you guys to support than acco.org.
Definitely. Shouts out to them. I am glad, and I want to everybody that did, you know, that participated in this. You know, you helped, because we raised this money and gave this to this organization through everybody's help. So for everybody, thank you.
And in the process, Rob Lee won a KS14D, Joe Hickborn won a InMotion V13, Lim Ong won a Master, and
One of the Knights.
I can't remember his name. It's a different name. I don't want to butcher it, but anyhow, rider out of California, Leighton shoot, I don't remember, but anyway, and he won an M10. So we
Yeah.
were able to actually give away some really cool
Yeah.
wheels, and we
Yep.
saved and we raised a bunch of money. So it's been awesome. It's
So
been a great
We
journey.
should have another one soon, right?
Yeah.
We're having
another
another
giveaway?
one. We're having another
Another
raffle
raffle?
soon. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
EUC Vibe said, I've been wearing my AMP jersey every day.
You should wash it, bro. Probably stuck to you by now.
Yo, Grill said, he said, he said, chop up these clips. You guys are speaking the truth. Awesome episode. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Devo
Thank
said, hey,
you.
Seth, are the Amped Electric Games jerseys back in stock yet?
I'm looking at the 2023 jerseys. so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
New design, man.
those are not. We're actually working with a designer up in Canada, the same designer that did our AVS shirts. So those are going to be coming
Those
out
things
soon.
came
The
out
design
sick,
for
too.
those.
Did you guys see those things? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I
Ooh,
just
let's
had
see what
mine
we got
on.
right here.
Yeah.
I had it sitting on my chair. Look at how sick these things are.
AVS.
Can you see
Race
that
and
all right?
ride.
Oh, did you get your sweat? Oh, you got your sweatshirt?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, by the way. And then you got the
Nice.
back. Got the back,
Sweet.
all the sponsors there. These
That's
things
sweet.
are sick.
Love
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
Liv was wearing hers outside yesterday when you saw her towing home the one-wheeler. I sent you a video, Seth.
Yeah, I
She
saw
was
it.
towing home one-wheelers wearing hers, and it was cold out. And it's
She had a
nice 'cause
train going.
those hoods are just thin enough that they can actually fit between your head and the helmet. So it kept
Oh,
it
nice. There you go.
So if you need a hoodie, there you go.
Nice,
There's a
nice,
good reason
nice.
why.
So I guess we'll wrap it up, but it's hard not to talk about this great like thing that we're a part of. And it's more than just the wheels, it's more than just the community. It's like all of it. All of it comes together to just bring so much joy and happiness into our lives. I know that I mean you guys have seen me before even doing this. I was already enthusiastic about a lot of things. But there's just something about this EUC community that I don't know, it just takes it to a whole nother level. And it's like magic. I guess I mean I feel like we're family and the connection we feel is magic. So I'm happy that everybody that came out to the games, everybody that came out to the rally, everybody that was at AVS and all these events, I appreciate all the love that we're continuing to share with each other. And I really look forward to all the things we have in store because it's just going to get better and better and better. So if you haven't come to these events, I suggest you like pencil in some time because
Choose at least one.
yeah,
Choose
at
at
least
least
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks again to Seth. You guys have to give Seth like really, really give Seth a thank you because if it wasn't for Seth, I'm telling you right now. Look, and I say that not just because of what he did with Amp, but his influence. Seth is a guy that like we all care about, but he calls you and he's like, "Hey, you think you could do this?" And you're like, "Yeah." You want to do it for him because part of it is because you know that he would do that shit for you. Like,
Right.
in a heartbeat, he would do it for you. And that's why you're like, so I had no intention of going to AVS. But Seth called me and I'm like, I'm like, damn it, man. All right, Seth, I'll be there. And then I'm like, two days later, I'm like, yeah, I got my ticket. I'm coming.
And now it's just gonna have a snowball effect on you because you know the chemistry that you guys have when you're calling these races. You know, you neither one of you could do it on your own. You know, it's just really special the way you guys interact with each other, and I think that that's something that we have to continue pressing on, and we have to continue pushing both of you guys on the commitment for more broadcasts and showing up to really meet and get to know these riders so that they know you and you know them. And I think that's part of the magic is the fact that you guys were both riders first.
Yeah.
You understand the riding, you understand the dynamic,
100%.
you know some of the riders, you know the people behind the scenes. And that isn't something that you get through ESPN and people, you know, in sports and racing and things like that. So I think that there is a very special kind of ingredient or je ne sais quoi that you guys have.
Did he just flip the script?
We can't ignore. That's right. Come back tomorrow for
Cobra,
more French lessons.
it's going to be you and me announcing the Olympics in 2035.
That's it.
I'm making
That's
a prediction.
it.
I'm making a prediction. UC
That's right.
Olympics 2035.
Welcome to the
Yo.
2035 Olympics here in
Let's go.
I don't know where yet, but we'll to be filled in later.
Qatar.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was thinking somewhere like that. I was like, I don't know. Yeah.
Iran.
Right, you know, somewhere or here in Venezuela. We somewhere. We'll take it. We'll do it. Listen.
Anywhere, whoever
Yeah.
will host us
Awesome.
first. Will take
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So great to hang out with
Preferably
you
an
guys
island
again.
in a tropical,
yeah,
climate.
yeah.
We got a planning meeting coming up too here.
Yes.
in
Oh,
about
yeah. So we got to get
5
rocking,
minutes.
people. So I want to tell you guys again. Thank you to everybody in the chat room, everybody that showed up to check us out. We just wanted to, wrap up. I said the wheel year wrap up because this year has been so magical. I just wanted to talk about these events again and make sure everyone really truly understands how magical it was, and that everybody tries to get out to, like you said, at least one of these events coming up this next year. I want everybody to have a happy holiday. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your time.
Yeah.
I would say keep riding, but I know you will anyway.
Right.
So thank you, Seth.
Thanks for all the support, everybody, and all the comments. I love reading the comments. That's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Tons of fun,
Any
guys.
parting words, Seth?
Stay tuned because the story is just beginning to be written.
All right, Nick.
Yep. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm just really looking forward to seeing things progress and just seeing where this takes us. And definitely for anybody who is hesitant about coming out, intimidated, whatever, just like put your ego aside, man. Like put your fears aside. Just piss into the wind one time. Let us take care of you.
Just don't open your mouth.
trust us.
Just don't open your mouth.
On that note,
Well, I just want to end it by saying I love this community. I love what we're doing. I love our energy, and I want us to continue to spread it and to share it. Continue to be positive to each other out there. No negativity. Push that negativity aside. Embrace the positive and embrace the energy and continue to push it out to each other. Give each and everybody a hug, even whether it's virtual or not, and just keep spreading it because the love is real, everybody. I want to just say, enjoy yourselves, keep riding, keep it wheel, deuces.